It's late, like 11 p.m. late. You're scrolling online, half tired, half bored, when you see it. A jacket. $200. You absolutely don't need it, but you really, really want it. Then your eyes land on that little green option at checkout. Pay in 4, interest-free. Suddenly, the jacket isn't $200 anymore, it's $50 today. Future you can deal with the rest. You tap it, done. Jacket secured. 2 weeks go by, you forget. Not because you're irresponsible, you were just busy. Life happened. Also, you already had a few other pay-in-4 purchases going. Those slipped your mind too. And here's the part that should actually scare you. You're not the exception. Last year, 41% of people who used Buy Now, Pay Later missed at least one payment. That's not a handful of careless users. That's nearly half of everyone using these apps quietly feeding a system designed to look helpful while charging you for forgetting. My name's Bright, and I spend an unhealthy amount of time thinking about how modern companies have figured out how to turn debt into a life hack. If you've ever used Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, or casually clicked Pay Later without stopping to think, hit subscribe and drop a like. Because today, we're unpacking why Buy Now, Pay Later might be the most dangerous financial trap no one's really calling out. Before we go any further, quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I'm just someone who's watched Buy Now, Pay Later explode from a tiny $2 billion niche in 2019 into a projected $127 billion industry by 2026. That's not normal growth. That's a financial wildfire. And whenever something grows that fast, someone is making serious money. Spoiler, it's not you. Let's talk numbers, real ones, because most people assume this stuff is exaggerated. In 2025 alone, Americans spent over $107 billion using BNPL services. By 2031, that number is expected to hit $258 billion. Remember, this payment method basically didn't exist 10 years ago. Now it processes more money each year than the entire economies of many countries. Over 86 million Americans use BNPL. That's roughly 1 in 4 adults, and it's accelerating. During the 2025 holiday season, shoppers ran $10.1 billion through BNPL just between November and Cyber Monday. That's a 9% jump from the year before. But here's where things stop being impressive and start being unsettling. According to the Federal Reserve, nearly 1 in 4 BNPL users has made a late payment, up from 18% the year prior. A Motley Fool study found 29% have missed a payment at some point, even higher among Gen Z. And LendingTree? They found 41% of BNPL users were late in just the past year alone. Only 47% of users actually plan their payments ahead of time. Everyone else admits they kinda track them or straight up lose track. Let that sink in. More than half of users don't fully know how much they owe or when they owe it. At this point, some of you are thinking, okay, but it's interest-free. That's better than credit cards, right? And I hate to say it, but that exact thought is the trap. Interest-free only applies if you pay perfectly and only on short-term plans. Miss a payment with Afterpay? That's $8 or 25% of the purchase, whichever's lower. On a $50 item, that's $8 instantly gone. Klarna pulled in $472 million in what even competitors have called junk fees in 2024, about 7% of their total revenue. Late fees, reminder fees, snooze fees. Yes, you can literally pay to delay a payment. They've monetized procrastination. And longer-term plans? Affirm charges up to 36% APR. That's credit card interest with prettier branding. But the real cost of BNPL isn't just fees, it's behavior. Here's the psychology they don't want you focusing on. When you see a $200 item broken into 4 payments, your brain doesn't register $200, it registers $50. This is called reduced pain of paying. Splitting costs over time literally dulls the emotional discomfort of spending money. And it works. Businesses that offer BNPL see sales increase by around 27%, not because customers suddenly need more stuff, but because everything feels affordable. And if you're thinking, well, I always pay on time, that's exactly who this system relies on. Even users who never miss a payment still spend significantly more than they would without BNPL. That extra 27%, that's coming from your wallet. Let me show you how this actually plays out. You go online for running shoes. Budget, $80. You find a pair you love for $120. Normally, you'd keep browsing, but now it's 4 payments of $30, so you buy them. Then you see socks, $40 or $10 today. Why not? Then you see shorts, $60 or $15 today. You leave having spent $220 instead of $80, but it feels like $55. Multiply that mindset across an entire year. That's how 60% of BNPL users end up juggling multiple loans at once, and nearly 1 in 4 has 3 active plans simultaneously. It's not one big mistake, it's death by 1,000 small ones. And now things are getting darker. People aren't just using BNPL for clothes and electronics anymore. They're using it for groceries. About 25% of users now finance groceries, up from 14% the year before. A third of Gen Z has put supermarket trips on BNPL. We've normalized debt for milk and bread. You can even use Klarna on DoorDash. You can finance a burrito. 4 payments for a meal that'll be gone before the first installment is due. When this partnership launched, one finance expert called it a dystopian indictment of late-stage capitalism. Another said, if you need a loan for a burger, you're not the customer, you're the product. When experts start using words like dystopian, it's time to pay attention. BNPL was supposed to spread out big purchases, couches, laptops, emergencies. Groceries and takeout aren't big purchases, they're necessities and impulses. Financing necessities means you can't afford necessities. Financing impulses means you've lost touch with money entirely. This is the BNPL debt spiral. It usually starts innocently, an emergency expense, a medical bill, a car repair, then another purchase, less essential but manageable. Soon you've got multiple plans running, each payment small enough to ignore. Then money gets tight. You're either able to miss a payment and get hit with fees, or use BNPL to buy groceries so you have cash for everything else. So you stack another loan. Now you're not managing spending, you're managing debt. Payments overlap, fees appear, stress builds. You're paying for things you bought months ago while borrowing to afford today. That's loan stacking, and it's everywhere. 63% of BNPL users have more than one loan at a time. And because many BNPL plans don't show up on credit reports, lenders don't see the full picture until you default. Then it absolutely shows up. This is financial quicksand disguised as convenience. Day to day, it feels like checking your bank app, wondering which $25 is leaving today, seeing payment alerts you don't recognize, tracking 8 due dates while forgetting birthdays, avoiding email because it might be another missed payment notice. The average BNPL user now spends $244 a month through these services, up 21% year over year. For people in their 20s and 30s, that money could be building savings or paying down real debt. Instead, it's servicing an endless loop of purchases they could have waited for. The CPBL found BNPL users are more likely to carry subprime credit, hold more credit card debt, and rely on personal loans. Over half admit they used BNPL to buy things they otherwise couldn't afford. That's not smart financing, that's overspending with extra steps. And the long-term damage? It's changing how an entire generation thinks about money. Half of Gen Z and millennials say they prefer BNPL over credit cards. But credit cards have limits, checks, single due dates, protections. BNPL strips all of that away. Instant approvals, scattered payments, minimal oversight. We've handed people unlimited frictionless debt and called it progress. The companies behind this know exactly what they're doing. The green buttons, the only $25 today math, the effortless approvals. None of it is accidental. Merchants pay double the transaction fees to offer BNPL because it boosts sales by up to 30%. You're not the customer, you're the product. So here's the radical idea. You can just not use it. If you can't afford something today, waiting isn't failure. It's opting out of a rigged system. If you're already stuck, do this. List every BNPL loan you have, all of them. Stop opening new ones. Treat the total like real debt.
If you need BNPL for groceries, your budget needs immediate attention. The pain of paying exists for a reason. It protects you. Remove that friction and you don't become free, you become untethered. The next time you see pay later, ask yourself, would I still buy this if I had to pay the full price right now? Because you always pay later. The only question is whether you're paying with money or stress or a relationship with debt that sticks around far longer than the jacket ever will.